Did you know that 76% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from energy use? It means that if we want to solve climate change, we have to understand energy systems. That's why I'm launching a brand new YouTube series. Welcome to Energy 101. My name is Dr. Chris Jardine, and I've been teaching an MSc course in energy and mitigating climate change for the last 25 years at Oxford University. My mission is to take this vital information on energy and climate change and to simplify it so it can be understood by a wider audience from high school students upwards, and then to present this in a compelling way as a series of bite-sized YouTube videos. The obvious starting point is to ask, well, what is energy exactly? Well, it was Aristotle that first conceptualized energy as we know it, nearly 2,500 years ago, when he coined the term energeia. It's an idea and a concept that resonated with the rise of physics and thermodynamics nearly 2,000 years later. Now, it's at this point I can hear some of you shouting at your screens. There's a phrase, a mantra almost, that was seared into our brains in physics classes at school. Energy is the ability to do work. But what does that mean exactly? It's a little bit of a dry and an academic phrase that for me doesn't really capture the full essence of what energy is all about. So let's unpick this a little bit. What exactly do we mean by work? Well, anything we do is work in a thermodynamic sense. If you move something, that's work. If you heat something up, that's work. If you light something, that's also work. So really we could translate the phrase energy is the ability to do work as energy is the ability to do anything and everything. There's another interesting question here. Whose ability are we talking about? Well, we could certainly look at this from the role of the individual, but you could also look at larger institutions like businesses or governments, or even society as a whole. So perhaps another way of phrasing our definition of energy might be how individuals and societies do anything and everything. I think it's fair to say that if I was to do a whole YouTube series on the ability to do work, then that might come across as, well, pretty dull. But a YouTube series about how the whole of human society functions, well, that's a lot more interesting question. There's an important feature of how I've just reinterpreted our definition of energy. It's gone from something rooted in the physical sciences, in thermodynamics and engineering, to something that's more about people and society. In practice, of course, the study of energy is both of those things. It's the study of technology and how people relate to that technology. Technology doesn't exist in isolation. People purchase technologies, people invest in technologies, and people use technologies. And in turn, those technologies may also change the way that people live their lives. The hot topic at the moment is about the rise of artificial intelligence, and it's an area that I think demonstrates this interplay between technology and the way that it's adopted perfectly. On one hand, the science behind artificial intelligence and large language models is undeniably impressive science. But the really profound impacts are likely to be on the way that that technology is adopted. What's going to happen in the workplace? Is artificial intelligence going to replace many different types of jobs? What will that do to worker versus boss power dynamics? And what will the impact be on wages as a whole? When we look at energy specifically, we see something similar. On the supply side, for example, what determines whether householders choose to put solar panels on their roof or not? What is it about this technology that might make them engage or might make them want to pass the opportunity by? Similarly, we could look at the case of nuclear energy in France, where they have a very large-scale programme, whilst over the border in Germany, there's a very, very strong anti-nuclear movement. On the demand side, any device in your home that uses energy can also be considered in the same way. So the ways in which we utilise our washing machines or heating our homes or how much TV we watch has a massive impact on the amount of energy that we actually require. People relate to energy in many different ways. First and foremost, they're consumers of energy, either at home or at work or through transport. But some people may also be producers of energy, for example, if they have solar panels on their own homes. Then there's the people that run and govern our energy systems. And other people might be investors in energy, either directly or through their pension funds. It means that there's a myriad of ways in which people approach the subject of energy. This means that there's a wide range of perspectives on energy and the transition to a lower carbon society. An engineer, for example, might say, we just need to build better wind turbines, more efficient solar panels, and develop better batteries. On the other hand, an economist might say, all we need to do is get the price of carbon right, and then the market will deliver the most optimal solution. At the same time, a politician might be looking to do something that would prove popular with voters and at not too great a cost. Whilst the social scientist might say, well, if we don't know what people are using energy for, how can we expect to find the best way to change the system? Now, all of these perspectives are fair and valid, and they're all true in their own right, but somehow each angle misses part of that wider picture. So this is something that I'll be looking to do through this series, is to try and bring these different range of viewpoints and try and knit them together into a cohesive whole. In trying to bring this balance between different viewpoints, a lot of what we'll be doing is trying to redress some of the myths that come up when you read national media. National media gets things wrong in several ways. First of all, there's an over-focus on the importance of electricity. On the other hand, gas for heating and petrol and diesel for transport rarely get mentioned. Number two, energy supply gets all the attention, but energy efficiency, energy demand, and infrastructure rarely get mentioned. So yes, of course we're going to be looking at new technologies like wind turbines and solar panels during the course of this series, but we'll also be looking at ways in which we can reduce demand. Lastly, we must set this series against the context of human-induced global heating. I'm taking the science of climate change as a given here, so the focus will be very much on practical steps towards the energy transition. Energy is responsible for 76% of global greenhouse gas emissions, so we won't be able to solve the issue of climate change without fundamental changes to our energy system. I hope that by watching this series, I'll give you the information you need to make more informed choices and to play a stronger role in creating the future that we desperately need. If that sounds appealing to you, then give us a like and subscribe so you can be the first to see future episodes.